What is up, Pats Nation? It is Patriots Global back here with another video, and with breaking news, the New England Patriots have signed former Patriot tight end Benjamin Watson to a one-year deal worth $3 million. Now, this is actually a move that I have heard a lot of people talking about, not just Pats Nation, more specifically though Pats Nation, but the NFL in general. For those of you who do not know, he formerly played with the New Orlean Saints last season, and then at the end of the season, he decided to go on Instagram and say that he was actually retiring from football, that he was stepping away, and then a couple months later, we hear that he is actually talking about making a return to football, but only for the right situation. And of course, what is a better situation than coming back to the team that drafted you back in 2004, the team you spent 6 seasons with, the team that has the best quarterback of all time, the best coaching staff of all time, and at this point is the only team that is going to provide you your best chances at getting to a Super Bowl. You guys have been DMing me, you guys have been leaving comments, you guys have been leaving general comments about him in the comment section below. So you guys have really been curious about a Benjamin Watson to the Patriots reunion, and you guys have finally got it. So the first thing I want to do about talking about this guy is talk about, of course, what you guys know I love to talk about any signing, and that is their build and their height and what that means. So his height is 6'3", and he is 255 pounds. So off the bat, he isn't bringing anything too crazy when it comes to height. Obviously, Gronk was a 6'6" tight end, but to me, that doesn't really matter. And in his game, that 6'3" hasn't really held him back by any means. But visibly, you can tell that 255 pounds makes him a very bulky tight end, a very put together framed type of tight end, and that is what I love about this guy. To me, height doesn't matter all that much because you already have guys on the Patriots, because the Patriots have really started to gather a nice depth at the tight end position. But because they have done that, I'm not super worried about the whole Benjamin Watson at 6'3", because you have Austin Seferian-Jenkins. He's 6'6", same height as Gronk. Then you have Matt Lacoste. He's also 6'6", again, same height as Gronk. So you already have other guys that have the ability to make the roster that have brought very good height. So to me, it's not much of a worry, especially because you're getting a guy that compensates with that with a very good build. I think the biggest thing that people are really worried about with this signing, the thing that has kind of plagued some of the hype with him, is that a lot of fans do not like his age. Okay, he's 38 years old. He will be turning 39 this upcoming December. And a lot of people are going to bring this back to Tom Brady, being like, well, Tom Brady's a 40-some-year-old quarterback. I mean, if Tom can do it, this guy can do it. But I do think that what you have to remember is that tight end is a way more physical position than a quarterback. But to me, the age really doesn't matter, because if he was really that worn out, if his body was having that much issues and he knew this, he would not have come out of retirement. I think the reason he went out of retirement was really just because, of course, again, he is getting older. He wants to spend more time with family and his kids. But also because maybe he wasn't in the best situation. Of course, being a part of the Saints isn't a bad situation, but it isn't a super exciting reason like it is with the Patriots when you're going to the Super Bowl year after year playing with the best quarterback and best coach in football. So, I mean, obviously that is extremely intriguing to anyone, especially to a guy that started his career in New England and spent 6 years there. He actually already is a Super Bowl champion. He was a part of the Patriots' Super Bowl winning team back when they beat the Philadelphia Eagles. And he is definitely looking to bring another one of those to his hand. Despite his age, though, despite how you might feel about his age, he has still been a very productive player. Last year with Drew Brees and the Saints, he had 400 yards with 2 touchdowns on just 35 receptions and became Drew Brees' #1 tight end. He also became the best graded blocker on the New Orlean Saints team last year with a grade of 73.0. So right off the bat, there is a lot of good things to like about him. He's a guy that, one, is bringing experience to the NFL. He's bringing a lot of experience to the Patriots. He's been with multiple different teams, which I will get into a little bit later in this video. But he has been around for so long, almost as long as Tom Brady, that he has seen the NFL adapt and he's learned how to adapt to it. But not only is he going to be able to be a receiving threat, a guy that Tom Brady can go to, but he is also going to be a guy that can block. And that's been a very big question for the Patriots. Obviously, the Patriots lost Rob Gronkowski, who, although was not necessarily productive in the receiving game last year, he was still a very good blocker, the best blocker in the NFL, arguably, when it comes to tight ends. And the Patriots really have been looking at guys to be able to replace Gronk in the receiving game, but there's been a lot of question on who is going to be able to provide in that blocking area. Because not only have the Patriots lost Rob Gronkowski, but they've also lost Dwayne Allen. He is a guy who's going to come in and be able to make lanes for guys like Sony Michel, James White, Damian Harris, Rex Burkhead. But he also will be able to pass block for Tom Brady, which is just as important. When it comes to the receiving game, he isn't a tight end that is really going to impress you with his speed by any means. He isn't super slow, but he isn't a guy that's going to be super impressive. But at the same time, he's a tight end, so I don't know exactly what you're expecting speed-wise for a tight end. But looking at his highlights, he is a guy that can really get that separation from a defender. And I'm not talking about early on in his career. I looked back at his highlights, even from last season, and I could still easily and visibly see him getting that separation from a defender. He's a guy that really does have strong hands and, again, a very good build. So he also has very good focus, whether it is catching just an easy, straightforward pass or being able to just really focus on where the ball is and tracking it down for a diving catch. Now, the Patriots were not the only team that was interested in signing the veteran tight end. Other teams that were interested in him were actually the Kansas City Chiefs, the Buffalo Bills, and the San Francisco 49ers. And now, from what it sounds like, if he had not signed with the New England Patriots, it seems like he would have ended up signing with the Kansas City Chiefs. Another thing that some fans might downgrade this guy for is that he has never had a 1,000-yard season, so you might already see those comments in my comment section of nothing to look at with this signing. He's washed up. He's just a basic tight end. But really, he's not. He's been a fairly productive and consistent tight end. And like I mentioned earlier in this video, he had spent the first 6 years of his career with the New England Patriots. He was drafted by them in 2004 with the 32nd pick overall in the first round. His first season with the Patriots, he didn't play all that much. He actually only got to play one game and had 2 receptions for 16 yards. The following season with the Patriots, he had 441 yards on 4 touchdowns. The next season, he had 643 yards and 3 touchdowns with the Patriots. The year after that, he had 389 yards and 6 touchdowns. The year after that, 209 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then in his final year with New England, he had 404 yards and 5 touchdowns. The biggest thing that really sticks out to me when looking at this guy's stats is that he can really catch touchdowns. He can be a touchdown hog, which can result in the Patriots having finally that red zone threat back. Now, usually that red zone threat is Rob Gronkowski. Of course, Rob Gronkowski has retired, but even before he retired this past season, Brady was not looking to him in the red zone. That's usually a guy Brady likes to give the ball to in the red zone, and rightfully so. Brady can now finally have another tight end who has reliable hands and can actually get some separation and do something in the red zone, so the Patriots are not just coming off the field with 3 points. After his 6 years with the Patriots, he spent 3 years with the Cleveland Browns. After that, he spent he spent 3 years with the Saints, then 1 year with the Ravens, and then this past season went back to the New Orlean Saints. At this point, this is probably one of the best signings the Patriots could do, especially for adding depth at tight end. You're getting a guy who, one, has so much NFL experience. Again, is a guy that's been around to see the NFL change. He's been around just as long as Tom Brady again, so he has seen the NFL evolve, and he's known and seen how to adapt to it. Seen a lot of different looks defensively, but most importantly, he knows the New England Patriots system. He's played with Tom Brady before, so he has that chemistry. So it's not like Tom Brady has to rebuild an entire chemistry with some guy that he's never actually played with before. And he will also be reuniting with Patriots offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels. I really hate to say this, but for anybody that was really vibing on the whole Kyle Rudolph possible trade or possible pickup for the Patriots, I'm starting to highly doubt that that is a thing, because you're kind of looking at the Patriots' depth chart as of now, and it wouldn't make sense for them to trade and add yet another tight end, as I feel they will only keep 3, maybe 4, but that is a push, but tight ends. Right now you have Benjamin Watson, Alston Safarian-Jenkins, Steven Anderson, Matt LaCosse, Ryan Izzo, and Andrew Beck. Now, before the Benjamin Watson signing, I had the Patriots keeping Alston Safarian-Jenkins, Matt LaCosse, and Ryan Izzo. Of course, as of now, I'm going to go with a Benjamin Watson, Alston Safarian-Jenkins, and a Matt LaCosse. Something, to me at least, to watch out for is how the Patriots utilize him. Now, he has the ability to be an every down type of back, whether that's in the receiving game, whether that's run block, or whether that's pass block for Tom Brady. But he can also play those 2 tight end sets, and I think it would be just deadly to have a Alston Safarian-Jenkins on one side and a Benjamin Watson on the other, because the Patriots have not really been able to do that for a good amount of time now. They have Rob Gronkowski, but a lot of the times you had Dwayne Allen on the field as that second tight end, and we all knew that he was not doing anything in the receiving game. Brady did not trust him whatsoever, but the Patriots now have that possibility to be able to do so. But that is it for today's video. What are your guys' thoughts on Benjamin Watson coming out of retirement and rejoining his former team, the New England Patriots? Let me know in the comments below. Also, make sure you guys like and subscribe, as helps me, the channel, and even you guys out very, very, very much. Make sure you guys share this video with everybody who knows when to go to the Patriots Global family. And other than that, I will catch you guys in another video.